Good evening, Barnali. It's nice to meet you after a while. I've come here today to have a small chat with you, to know you a little more, a little better, and all that you have been doing. To start with, could you please tell me, something about your family, something about yourself, and how did you fundamentally land up in Pune?
Good evening, Amit. Very sweet of you to come and meet me. Now you want me to talk a little bit about my family and how I landed here. By family, let me take you a little back, not just my family as in my unit now. Is that because the influence in my life has been huge as a child from my dad, and who was a doctor in the Indian Army, and so a lot of us three sisters, not only me, goes back to him because he was really proud of his three daughters and he called us his teen kunna. So much so that he made us equal to all the boys around, and he was proud of that. And just to share with you is that my sisters actually performed the last rites of both my parents. I was not there in the city when they passed away, and I hope to do Kunnadan when my daughter gets married in a few months' time. And in Pune, actually, I've spent a little bit of, I educated in Pune, but here I came about 16 years back. We were posted here, and then we came here and to talk about the family. Now I have two grown-up children, wonderful kids. In fact, my identity that I'm proudest about is being mother of two great kids. And I do think of Pune as my home, and the influence in my life has been pan-India, because being an army kid, I grew up all over. I'm very proud of the Bengali roots and very proud of what the culture that is within us because of our roots and the childhood influence. But I've also been influenced by the goodness in a lot of states, and I'm really grateful for that.
We know that you are a pediatrician by profession. Could you share with us what made you choose medicine as your academic profession?
Amit, I did tell you that my dad was a doctor, and I was a reasonably good student, and our generation, all the good kids were either doctors or engineers, and girls predominantly doctors, and I don't know how I came to choose pediatrics. So some people say that I always spoke of pediatrics when I was a medical student, but I think I've always kind of felt very strongly for kids, and I say that I believe in children because there is faith in their eyes and love in their touch and hope in their attitude, and I think probably I wanted to do a lot of community work. And when you're a pediatrician, you get to touch so many lives because you're associated with families.
True.
So I think that's why I chose.
You've been very closely involved with parenting. Could you kindly share with us certain thoughts on parenting?
Yeah, I think as a pediatrician, we have a tremendous chance to influence the way a family should be as parents. Because when in your and my generation, when we were kids, there was nothing, parenting was hardly thought of or spoken about. It was supposed to be on an auto thing, Kids were born, kids grew up, kids went to school, kids went to college, they got the job, they got married. But now it's kind of, there are so many issues, and the families have become nuclear. And there aren't, the grandparents aren't there, or even if they are there, they are not given the status as, say, a generation back was giving them. So they have either self-help books, the parents, or they'll Google online, or they need an adult to ask, and who better than a pediatrician, who they are seeing the child in sickness. So there is a lot that I get to tell them about, how to discipline, how not to bring in sibling rivalry, what kind of habits that they can inculcate. So it is basically, a lot of people say that, people think pediatrics is all about nutrition and keeping them in good health. Shops with kids, and then I called it, if life is a game, then these are the rules. And I taught them values like honesty, gratitude, kindness, loyalty, discipline, focus, because sometimes they just need a little guidance.
We also know that you have done a lot of work on asthma, especially pediatric asthma, if I can call that.
That's my mission. That's my mission, Amit. Is that I think this again, asthma has an emotional connect. Two of the men most dear to me in my life, my father and son, they're bad asthmatic. In fact, my dad's no more. And so when Eklavya was very young, and I was in the army, and he used to have this breathlessness, and there was so little available there then. This I'm talking about good 26 years back. And in fact, because I was staying alone with these two little kids, and I was myself very, very young, is that they would often think that I'm kind of cooking up all this, that he's suffering, and then I was fortunate to go to England then, and then I chose to do pediatric respiratory, especially pediatric asthma, and I was lucky to bring that skill back. And of course Eklavya grew well, outgrew the disease. He stands at 6 feet. I felt that if I could do this to my own kid, why not spread this? So it's like, so when I came here 16 years back, and I used to take so long, my colleagues who are now very, very good friends used to wonder as to, but for me it was a mission. It was just, that asthmatic kid is the most special child coming into this clinic. But that hospital that I worked with, it gave me a big platform. Patients coming, and then I realized that all of them can't come to me. So why not start training doctors? So so today we train. I got a group together with the help of the Chest Research Foundation, and we kind of train doctors not only across Maharashtra. So I've gone to far off place like Beed and Latur, and which otherwise one wouldn't have seen. And we've also gone, so I traveled in a train after years, and it's a chuk-chuk gadi, and we went to Amravati, Jalgaon, and then I've also gone to Kenya, Sri Lanka, and just educating, so it's like a mission for me. And the goal when I see an asthmatic child is not so much for the disease, but my thing is, I am going to give this child a near normal life, and I'm going to give him excellent quality of life, and his mother and father should think that he's just like another child, and with the help of treatment, of course. So yes, asthma is, today it's my zeal. I mean, when I go to another city and I talk about it, I feel proud that, my career did take a back seat because I was so keen on giving my time to the children.
Barnali, we see in you a tremendous zest for life. Even after carrying out your professional responsibilities, you are involved with quite a lot of socio-cultural activities. And how do you manage to do it?
Life is multifaceted, isn't it, Amit? One would be so boring if one was just working, and so it's so diverse. You see, like you had look at Rabindranath. Is it only pujo, or is it only karma? There is prem, there is prakriti. So that is life. I mean, God's given us one chance, So I kind of want to make the most of every day. And I think again, this also takes me back to childhood, that we were fortunate to go to schools where there was a lot of extracurricular activity.
Right.
So being a good student didn't mean that I can't participate in sports. Being a good student didn't mean that I couldn't sing with the band. So, as one went about doing all that, they became part of my personality. So I kind of enjoy living, work, career, responsibilities. That's there for everybody. But I have to make my journey through life beautiful. So I'm having fun living.
Could you please share with us, how did Pehchan come into existence?
Oh, Pehchan's very dear to me. That's now more than 10 years back. I was invited to deliver a talk on attitude and etiquette at the Panchsheel Club, where I met 4 or 5 of the girls who are now part of Pehchan. And end of it all, we were all very happy, and they said, can we meet you on a regular basis? And I said, how many groups to meet? So why not start a little group? And so they said, okay, we'll get it together and we will meet once a month. And they were very kind. They said, we will meet on a Wednesday, which is a relatively light day for me at work. and we will meet in the afternoon, and then we had to search for a name. And by then I saw that these girls came from wealthy homes, but yet there was something lacking in their life. And that lacking was not money or this thing. It's just that they didn't have an identity. They were just somebody's wife and somebody's mother, and so I said, how about calling it Pehchan? And we've grown, and some of the girls are, they've branched out. There's so much of confidence in them. Mm-hmm. They've started their own stores, their own little, some of them have become entrepreneurs now. And it's so good to see them that I feel that I've been the wind beneath their wings, and in doing so I've had so much of fun too, because we have a lot of fun meets, and otherwise maybe I wouldn't have been able to go to so many places where somebody has managed to organize a meet. So it's been a very happy and a very satisfying kind of a journey with friends who are friends, and yet I've had a little hand in steering them and giving them this place in their own lives.
Great, Barnali, to know the multifaceted Barnali in you. Well, one last question. On the eve of International Women's Day, what is the message that you'd like to pass on to women in general?
Amit, you said International Women's Day. I wish a time would come when we wouldn't be celebrating a day for women. It should be every day that we should be celebrating the women in our life, our mother, our wife, our girlfriends, our partners, our daughters-in-law. But now that you tell me a message, and it's very kind of you to ask me to say that, but I think the first would be that we women should learn to assert ourselves. We generally choose two paths. Either we kind of get into a shell and we recoil from the world that's troubling us, or we get into an aggressive mode, and nothing really helps. So if whether within the family or whether at work or whether in a relationship, it should be that we should learn to assert ourselves. And the second thing which I feel very strongly about is that we mothers should always learn to hear our sons know the word no. A lot of problems in the society wouldn't happen. All these acid attacks wouldn't happen. All these rapes wouldn't happen if only their mothers said no to them and the men learned to hear the word no. And finally, this is something that I believe in, is that we need to love ourselves. Because if we love ourselves, then we extend this love to all those around us, and the world becomes a happier place. Isn't that what we all want out of life?
Barnali, it was great talking to you, and we came to know a lot about you, and I'm sure the message that you gave would hold good for women in general as well as the society at large. Thank you so much, and good night.
Thank you, Amit. Those were very kind words, and thank you for giving me your time. That's the best gift that one can give. Thank you.